Tired of dealing with annoying flies, fruit flies, and gnats in your home? The Zevo Flying Insect Trap is your ultimate solution. Don't wait. Check out the link in the video description now to get your Zevo Flying Insect Trap on Amazon and enjoy a bug-free home today.
Former students of a $2,800 per month troubled teen academy have laid bare the sickening abuse and punishments they were allegedly forced to endure, from waterboardings and whippings to underground fight clubs. From 1980 to 2008, the Bethel Boys Academy, later renamed the Eagle Point Christian Academy, operated ostensibly as a reform school for troubled youths in the small, isolated town of Lucedale, Mississippi. The school was founded by Reverend Herman Fountain and billed itself as a faith-based place of learning engineered to help wayward teens get their lives back on track. The trouble cited by Fountain as cause for admission could range anywhere from serious criminal activity and underage alcohol consumption, to staying out too late at night and running with the wrong crowd. Behind closed doors though, Bethel was anything but a haven for reform, let alone a school, say 5 former students who attended the facility between the late 1990s to the mid-2000s. David Bosher, who arrived at Bethel in 1996, likened the militant, abusive, and violent culture cultivated inside Bethel to a cross between the Hunger Games and Lord of the Flies. Bosher and his 4 fellow Bethel alumni say the school operated on a kill or be killed mentality, with teachers regularly instructing students to jump and assault detractors and newcomers to keep them in line. The school was essentially a military camp, run by Marines. Students were referred to as cadets and much of the school day was spent doing exhaustive physical exercise, often without sufficient water or bathroom breaks, the ex-students say. One cadet's failure to complete a physical task, such as doing 200 push-ups in a single sitting, would impact the entire company. Punishments for such infractions could range from the mild, such as running laps or starting the exercise over, to the incredibly severe. Some of the stuff they did to us they wouldn't be allowed to even do to terrorists, but they were doing it to kids behind closed doors, Bosher told our channel. And that's why most of these troubled teen facilities are in small towns so they can control the town with their narrative and the money it brings in. It was like the Hunger Games meets Lord of the Flies in there. It was their rule and their law, nothing else existed. You either did it their way, or you were subject to physical abuse, mental abuse, sleep deprivation, you name it. Bosher, Alan Knoll, and Daniel Edwards all attended Bethel between 1996 and 1999. Knoll was just 10 years old when he walked through the facility's front doors. Having tragically suffered sexual abuse at the hands of a family friend a year earlier, Knoll said he began acting out and his mother was advised to send him to Bethel by a family counselor. Despite all the alleged horrors he'd witness and experience over the next 2.5 years inside the academy, Knoll said his mom dropping him off and leaving him there remains the most painful memory of all. I feel like I was a throwaway child, shared Knoll. My parents were wealthy and wanted to travel and I got in the way of that. But the worst part of this whole experience, even more so than the abuse, and the abuse was horrendous, the worst part was being dropped off and left with strangers 2,500 miles from home and watching that car drive away. That sticks with me. I remember looking at all these people next to me, who were so mean and so big, and I just remember crying and crying and crying every night. I went through some terrible things at that place, but the hardest part for me was that first day and that sense of abandonment. It's never gone away, I deal with it every day. Knoll's tender age rendered him among the very youngest on campus. Within days his anguish over being abandoned would be displaced by an overwhelming fear for his safety. The catalyst for that fear was spurred by an incident in his dorm when an instructor accused someone of drinking out of a bottle of rubbing alcohol, he said. The instructor began by punishing the children with extreme exercise, hoping one would crack and fess up to the offense. When one of his fellow cadets suddenly became violently ill, the instructor presumed the sick child was the culprit, Knoll said. He began to collapse and fell unconscious and they were kicking him on the ground because he wasn't following the steps anymore, recounted Knoll.